It depends on the class. In general, you can't use it to, for example, write a whole essay for you. But some classes allow you to use a little bit of it within your writing as long as it's cited. A lot of my classes tend to like completely prohibit the use of AI in assignments. Most of my teachers don't really address it. They only really address it on their syllabus. What I've seen that does work is in classes letting students use it to a certain extent and incorporate the technology just because this is something that is not going to go away. It's going to be present in our lives for a really long time. So being able to get used to it and know how to work with it is pretty important. And I think what doesn't work is that some profs like really go out of their way to not acknowledge it. But I think that since technology keeps evolving, I think we do need to change the way that we learn as well.
At McEwen University, my institution policy on AI differs from faculty and professors. It is kind of outlined in each course's guidelines of if it is allowed or not permitted. I prefer using it with like where it's allowed because it kind of gives like a freedom to a student to be creative and use it in accordance to guidelines. And what does not, I feel, work is like relying solely on the detection tools that detect AI without like educating students. Just scaring them on the fact like, oh, it can be detected, but not educating them like why it should not be used or what are the limitations of it.
Just about in every one of my classes, they've talked about it pretty specifically, saying don't use like ChatGPT, like don't use any generative AI, because it's strictly prohibited. It's like not allowed. You can get suspended, you can get expelled. Personally, I haven't really used any like generative AI in regards to my education, but I did have one instructor at one point that incorporated it just to kind of show us how wrong AI can be. So we used it to generate an answer to a case study where we would critique the AI's answer and it would give us something that maybe didn't follow like what we were learning in class and wasn't really a proper case study analysis and like how bad it would be if we were to submit that answer. So we would go through and critique it. And I think that's a much more positive way of showing students why not to use AI than just saying, don't use it, it's terrible.